Today, we are going to discuss an amazing book about how to make any content or help any product to go viral, and what is the psychology behind making viral content. The book is called Contagious by Jonah Berger. Contagious marketing means the spreading of information from one person to another. This information sharing can be in form of words, images, videos, or experiences. But the objective is always to get your message to maximum potential customers. In this video, we will be discussing the psychology behind contagious marketing or viral marketing. Some of the questions that we will be answering are: why are some content viral and others are not? What makes content or product viral? What is the human psychology behind making content viral? There are two aspects of selling, the first being the seller and the second being the customer. That's obvious, but hear me out. In this modern day of cutthroat competition and fierce marketing, there is one precious commodity that every seller or business is after. That is, the customer's attention. Social media has become an integral part of the majority of people, and has evolved as one of the best sources to market products and services to prospective buyers. Studies show that human attention span is limited, and having to convince people to convert into prospective buyers requires getting into the skin and understanding what trigger will work for the majority of customers. The most ancient and most effective way of marketing is word-of-mouth marketing. This brings us to the book called Contagion by Jonah Berger. The book focuses on the psychological part of how viral marketing works, meaning there is no one particular formula to creating viral content. Rather, we focus on how humans perceive which information should be shared by them. The book has been divided into 6 steps: social currency, trigger, emotion, public, practical values, and stories. It spells the acronym STEPS. Chapter 1: Creating Social Currency. It simply means that people will share anything that makes them look good in front of others. According to Berger, just as people use the money to buy products or services, they use social currency to achieve desired positive impressions among their families, friends, and colleagues. So to get people talking, companies and organizations need to mint social currency, giving people a way to make themselves look good while promoting their products and ideas along the way. Social currency is the most powerful tool for any company that wants to create a lasting effect in the minds of their consumer. For example, let's say you stumble upon a small food joint or a hole-in-a-wall type of Italian restaurant, and it turns out that the food here is super delicious and the customer service is awesome as well. What do you do now? Your instinct is to tell your friends and family about your experience, so they can enjoy it too, and brag about how you found a hidden gem. Looking at it from a marketing point of view, this is one of the greatest ways to promote any product. In fact, word of mouth overpowers social media, because social media, although puts your ads in front of potential customers, it has a limitation that it does not guarantee they will listen or engage with your ad or like what you offer, and definitely does not guarantee that these viewers will convert into paying customers. Yes, the ads might pop up in front of the customers, but they can easily scroll away, or worse, ask Facebook or Instagram not to show such ads again. You might be a marketing genius or not, but you will do the same if the ad does not interest you. So, in order to get people talking, companies and marketers need to create social currency. Give people a way to make themselves feel good about themselves, while promoting their products and ideas along the way. Berger further suggests 3 ways to get people talking about a product or service. A. Intrinsic peculiarity or unusually exciting. Remember Steve Jobs' 1,000 Songs in My Pocket campaign for the first ever iPod, and how he pulled out the first ever iPod from his pocket? Ever since then, people could not stop talking about it. This was a very peculiar way of presenting a product that made the product stand out from the competition. For your product or idea, make sure you highlight something unusual. Not necessarily, you have to invent something, rather it could be a small nifty feature, different packaging, or its perfect design that sets it apart from the competition. B. Leveraging game mechanics. Every human being subconsciously or consciously is competitive in some way or the other. It helps boost word of mouth as people tend to show off their achievements, at the same time they will talk about the brand as well. There are 5 major reasons why game mechanics yields results. Reason number 1: to compete. As humans, we are hardwired to compete and to play to win. It's something that releases feel-good hormones like serotonin and dopamine. Reason number 2: to be challenged. This means the user has to overcome an obstacle or achieve some kind of task. The third reason is to have fun. There is so much competition for brands, so one way to stand out is to make the experience fun. A recent example we can understand is: at the start of the lockdown, last year in the UK, Carbon Theory wanted to create a fun and light-hearted game to entertain its audience. And that was truly their purpose. They didn't even include a registration form. Once the player finished the game, he or she received a voucher code for their next purchase. The campaign paid off quickly. Within the first 14 days, Carbon Theory saw £10,000 in sales they could directly contribute to the game campaign. In addition, the voucher became their most used voucher. Reason number 4: to be rewarded. Rewards can, luckily, be many things. They can be monetary or not, be of high value, intrinsic, or extrinsic. A prize can be real or within the game, and it can even be feedback. The challenge or game itself can, in some instances, be the reward as well. For example, Amazon in India has in-app games like Quiz and Spin a Wheel. This rewards the customer with free gifts and vouchers, promoting the gifted brands, as well as keeping the customer happy. Fifth reason: to mirror. Mirroring means that the person or player gets to see how they compare to others. The online game has options to log into social media and check how your friends playing the same game are doing. This helps the game developer access more people playing their game. C. Make people feel part of the idea or insider. Exclusivity is the key here. If people get something not a lot of people have, makes them feel special, and in turn, they will start talking about the product. Why? Because telling others makes them look good. Having insider knowledge is social currency. Chapter 2: Trigger new ideas. Word of mouth cannot mean the same for all the ideas. Trigger means some information or object that will stimulate your memory and associate with a product or service. In the usual sense, triggering is something negative, like an event that has caused a painful memory that usually upsets a person. But in marketing, it could mean anything that could stimulate the memory. If you are dealing in food products, for instance, rely on immediate word of mouth. If consumers do not immediately start buying a new product introduced in the market, the store may stop stocking it. Other products or ideas, by contrast, like anti-bullying campaigns and new policy initiatives, benefit more from ongoing word of mouth. But in terms of marketing, the author suggests that a trigger could have a positive effect. Here, one stimulus or a trigger can have a chain effect on another stimulus, which usually creates an association with a new product or a partnership. Let me explain this more thoroughly. We are aware of the brand Dunkin' Donut. When you hear the word Dunkin' Donuts, your subconscious mind will immediately associate it with coffee and donut, even though it does not mention coffee in its name. Why? Because our mind will automatically create an image of someone dunking their donut into a coffee. In fact, when the Dunkin' Donut first opened, the donuts were shaped to have a handle to hold, while one dunks it into a cup of coffee, hence the name. Though, now no one does the dunk-dee-doo anymore. The words Dunkin' Donut will automatically create a connection. Triggers and cues lead people to talk, choose, and use. Social currency gets people talking, but triggers keep them talking. Top of mind means the tip of the tongue. Chapter 3: Emotions. What is emotional marketing? Emotional marketing refers to marketing and advertising efforts that primarily use emotion to make your audience notice, remember, share, and buy. Emotional marketing typically taps into a singular emotion, like happiness, sadness, anger, or fear, to elicit a consumer response. Driving sales through emotions has always been a very strong weapon of choice. The author analyzed thousands of New York Times articles to understand why certain types of content are more widely shared than others. Berger concluded that positive articles were more likely to be shared than negative ones because, when we care, we share. But at the same time, people also share articles about anger and anxiety. It's worth noticing that it does not necessarily have to be a positive experience. Humans love bonding over a common enemy. For example, we all have some issue with pandemic or COVID-19. So, if your product has a solution that promises to solve such a problem, it might have a positive impact on people, and in turn, people will relate to the product to generate sales. Check this out. This ad is simple yet effective. We are all in this together. You can connect it to any bad situation. For me, when I saw this, I associated it with the pandemic situation and had an instant emotional connection with the brand, so much so that it made me think about the employees working at McDonald's and how their families would have been affected. I did go in and order a meal for myself. Chapter 4: Public. If something is built to show, it's built to grow. Humans are keen observers. They observe almost everything. For a business, it is a good thing. The more the people observe, the more the product or idea catches on. Why? Because we are likely to discuss things that we observe more often. In order to reach out to the masses, find what appeals to the masses. In a crude form, hammer it. Have you observed, every email that is sent from iPhone had a small line at the end of it saying "sent from an iPhone"? It's important to make products that market themselves. This kind of strategy turns out to be pretty powerful for small companies or organizations that do not have a lot of resources. Try this for your product or service. Make multiple posts about current topics related to your products and service. Now go to similar kinds of pages and start engaging with people in their comment section. This will draw attention from people, and they might start visiting your page and start discussing there. Let me know in the comments section if this idea works for you. Chapter 5: Practical Values. Simply put, people like to share useful information. If a social currency is about information center, then practical values focus on the mostly information receiver. Every person perceives information according to the values inculcated through experience in their life. Businesses have to focus on creating information that will add value in the lives of their customers, and in turn customers will be motivated to share information with other people. Prospect theory or loss aversion theory suggests that when presented with a choice, both equal will choose the one presented in terms of potential gains. Meaning, people will share information that they find their personal gain or that creates physical and emotional gain. We have all received emails saying share this to 10 people, which will bring good luck to you. When this came out, initially people did prefer to forward it to multiple people. To create content that presents a certain type of benefit for people, enabling them to share your content. And more the benefit, more are the chances of making your content viral. In thinking about why some useful content gets shared more, a couple of points are worth noticing. The first is how the information is packaged, and the second key is the audience. Of the 6 principles of contagiousness that Berger discusses in the book, practical value may be the easiest to apply. Chapter 6: Stories. Storytelling marketing means using a narrative to communicate a message. The aim is to make the viewer feel something, enough that it'll inspire them to take action. Storytelling in marketing helps consumers to understand why they should care about something, and it works to humanize your brand. We have all wished that it would have been so much better if the education we received would have been in form of movies or stories, since stories are easy to remember and follow. Since childhood, we have been delivered values and life lessons through stories. Virality or word of mouth is most valuable when the brand or product benefit is integral to the story. When a product is woven so deeply into the narrative that people can't tell the story without mentioning it. Thank you for listening, and I hope this book may inspire you and guide you to make better decisions.